I called the school and I'm like, okay, so what is happening here? They're telling me that it's an impossible thing, and they're like, did you come with your son? Like, really? Like, are you crazy? You know, you had no plans and all that. I'm like, you know what? I am here, and we need to figure this thing out. So hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are one of my old subscribers, my name is Priscilla. I had a YouTube channel like 3 years ago, and when I had a child, it was not easy for me to continue filming, and I just kind of, life happened, and I have changed the direction and what I want to do on YouTube. So here I am giving this another shot. Yeah, so today I'm here for a story time. I want to tell the story of how I relocated to Canada with my toddler and the challenges, and just like this YouTube will be about me sharing about my stay or my journey in Canada. So let's get into it. So back in 2022, I just decided that I needed more. I wanted a different life, a better life for myself, my son, and my family. So especially for myself, I wanted more, you know. You just feel like you've got to move, like something else. So that's where this whole Canada journey began, and I just say to myself, I want to get back to school. And so I began searching for schools in the country where I was living, and unfortunately I didn't have a lot of options. So I had so many friends who are traveling to Canada to study, and I was like, you know what, why don't you also look into Canada? And so I started looking into it, and I was working, so I didn't have really a lot of time to research. You know, when you're looking for school, you need to have time. If you're doing it yourself, you need to have time to research on schools and sending the applications and everything. It was a lot of work. So I decided to go with an agent that I knew that was doing the applications for other people. Their name is Nova Prep, and they were amazing. They just made things happen for me chap, and I will maybe do another video just for that, for the entire application process. So they just took me through what I needed, the papers that I needed. We started preparing the papers, and the first step is, of course, identifying what you want to study. After that, you apply for the schools. So when you get your admission, that's when you start the process of getting a visa. So they took me through the entire process, and it was as seamless as possible and very fast. I was like, let me just try and see if this can even work, and it just kept on going. And so when we applied and got the admission, now came the visa application process, which for me at that point, I knew I could only travel with my son, but also I was just praying that they give him a visa also, because it's not an automatic thing. You have to apply, and they might refuse your dependent to come with you, they might accept. So I was really praying, because that was a deal breaker for me. If I wasn't gonna be able to travel with my son, I wouldn't have even just come to study. So thankfully they approved both our visas in like a month. So when I got the visa, that's when things get real, because now you know, okay, this is where I'm going. When I applied for the schools, I applied to like 5 different schools. So I just went with the one that came first and had the best offer in terms of what I was looking for, and that was Holland College in Prince Edward Island. So that's when I started getting into the whole moving thing. It became so real because I could now search for houses, I could start booking tickets and whatnot, and everything was just expensive. It was unexpected. Like the housing, I didn't expect it to be that expensive. So that's where I was stuck for about 3 months or even 4 months, I would say, because I got my visa in September and I could only travel in December because I was still looking for the house. And also, if the houses are expensive, then I'd rather just stay at home until I need to go, because my course was to start in January. So yeah, I looked for a house. I couldn't afford a full house. There is no way. It's like a full house is 2,000 and above. I mean, that time when I was searching on Facebook, that's what I was getting, 2,000 or 1,500 for one bedroom, or even renting a room in someone's house. Because as international students, most of them, they just rent rooms in other people's houses, and that is the cheaper option. And for me, that was almost not an option because I had a 3-year-old, and babies, they just cry and they're unpredictable, and most people didn't want that. So unfortunately, it was so hard for me to find a house. I only found a place where I could stay for like a month, a day before my flight. Yeah, it took me that long, like almost 5 months. And in those 5 months, I was like, okay, I need to change the province because I didn't know anyone in Prince Edward Island. That means I don't have any connections. I don't know anything about Prince Edward Island. When I was searching for international students, it wasn't relevant to my story, to my like situation, because I was a mother with a toddler coming to study, and most of the time the people who are just coming to study are either coming like without kids, or even it's like a couple. So it's different situation, different way of going about it, and also different opportunities, and also being in a different province means different things. I didn't understand that very well until I got here, because when I was searching for things, I was like, oh, okay, this is an option, but getting here, most of the things were not applicable to where I'm staying. And there's also reasons why you pick where you want to go. So I was like, I don't know, like, is this even a good decision? But anyway, I was just having faith, trusting God. I was like, God, just go before me, So I took the flight and we came. It was on 14th, and we landed on 14th, and we came to Prince Edward Island the next day. And I stayed at that lady for 1 month because she was telling me in January she needs to rent the rooms to other students who don't have kids, so I need to look for a place. And I was this close to just being on the streets until God just came through. That's another story for another day. So I stayed with that lady for 1 month, almost a month, and I had to look for daycare before my school started, because I came on 15th. My school was starting in January 8th, and I had to look for daycare for my son before January 8th, and people are going on break, on Christmas break, like on 20th. So it was just a marathon. When I got here, I thought I got here on time. It was a marathon. So to my surprise, my school, Charlottetown and Alberton, the campus where I'm going to, is like 2 hours difference. And I didn't understand that before getting here. So when I got here and I was telling the lady that, hey, I'll be going to Alberton, she's like, you're crazy, there's no way you're gonna do it, because you cannot leave your son in Charlottetown and go to study every day. Like, it's not even doable, you know. So I called the school and I'm like, okay, so what is happening here? They're telling me that it's an impossible thing, and they're like, did you come with your son? Like, really? Like, are you crazy? You know, you had no plans and all that. I'm like, you know what, I am here and we need to figure this thing out. So they sent me some links and I kept on just searching for a house and a daycare. So for daycare, you need to have you need to be on a daycare registry, and I thought you just come and take your child to daycare as long as you're gonna pay. And also I thought daycare is $10 a day. That is what I, like, when I googled, that's what I got. So I was like, oh, this must be easy. It's $10 a day is not that cheap, but like compared to what was the reality, that was really cheap. So getting here, I'm told, okay, you have to be on a registry. Like, you have to put your child on a daycare registry and you wait until they get a daycare, and that thing can take up to 1 year, 2 years, whatever. For the registry that I registered on, my son just got a spot for September. Like, I just got an email a few days ago that he got a spot for September. So that's how long basically it takes for you to even get something. And because he'll be 4 in September, so that's why I'm even getting a space in September. But what ended up happening, someone recommended another daycare that might be available, but that daycare was expensive and I didn't have any other choice. The daycare was $31.50 a day, and an international student, if you know anything about being an international student, you know the fees are high. Paying for daycare and housing is above 1,000 and something. So we'll talk about all the financial part of being an international student later in another video, hopefully. So yeah, so I had to, like, I just had to take my son to that daycare so that I can go to school. And I was just even thankful that I'm getting that daycare, because every other daycare he is still on 18 daycares just around my area where I'm living now in Summerside, because I had to move from Charlottetown to Summerside to come just a bit close to my school in Alberton. And so that's how I got daycare, and I got a place, and I started school in January, and it has been busy. I've been wanting to go on YouTube and do this video since January, because the way things were different for me when I got here, and I promise you, so many times I was like, you know what, I'm going back. Like, I am it is not happening. So many times I was like, I am crazy, why did I come here with a child? And like, I really had faith, and I thank God that he really came through. Like, God has been there for me. Like, it's amazing. Like, when you pray and you receive a promise, but you're like just still afraid, because coming all the way here with a child, not knowing even where you're going to land, it's crazy faith. And I was just like, God, I just believe if you gave me. I prayed for the visa, I prayed for the school. It was just like a process that just came just all of a sudden. Like, it's not like it just went step by step, and everything was just flowing in a very miraculous way. So I was like, God, you gave me the visa, that means you give me a place. You gave me a position in school, that means that school fees will be paid. You gave me this, and I just had to keep on reminding myself that, hey, it's gonna be okay. God has got your back, and really God came through. I just finished my first semester with cannot tell me anything. I still have 3 more semesters because I'm doing a 2 years course, and yeah, so life has been just taking my son to school and moving. I've moved like 3 times already. I am tired of moving, and probably I'll move again, or I'll move my son to another daycare when things keep on changing until you settle. Like, if you're here, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's a bit of my journey, and I'm hoping to keep on sharing my journey and just to put a bit of the reality on the ground when you're coming as an international single mother in Canada. I'm saying single because, like, if you come with a child without your spouse, that means you're single, you're all alone. When you come with your spouse, it is different because you have someone to help you. If you're in school, you have someone to drop and pick your child. But if you're single, like if you're here alone, it doesn't matter whether you're a single mother or you're married but your husband is not there. It's like you're alone, and that means different things change. A lot of things change, like doing everything yourself. You're not able to work, because like for the 4 months I've not been able to work, because when I go to school I drop my son at daycare. Once I come back at 5, I pick him at daycare, because his daycare is only up to 5:30, and that is like a good daycare, you know. Like other daycares end at 4, or yeah, mostly 4. So if you have to go to school, come back and pick your child by 4, and you cannot go to work, like evening shifts, so, and also on Saturdays or weekends, like you cannot work because you have to take care of your child. So it is not easy. And different cases, PR, there's PR pathways, there's international student pathway, and different cases, different way of dealing with things. So I am just here sharing my experience, what I went through, and what I know about Prince Edward Island so far that I've been here. And yeah, that's so. If you're thinking about going back to school, it is doable. I encourage you to do it. If you're thinking about Prince Edward Island, if you know someone who's thinking about Japan, as Nigerians would say, to Canada, Prince Edward Island to be specific, share the video, comment, like, and just you can leave me a comment on which video you want to see next, and I will do my best to deliver. See you next time.